welcome back and thanks for checking in to watch your next math video lesson. The learning target for this lesson is that you are going to use your understanding of angle relationships to find missing angle measures. That means all of the vocabulary that you've already learned about angles, such as vertical angles and supplementary angles, complementary angles, alternate interior, alternate exterior. You're going to take all of your knowledge about those different kinds of angles and relationships, and you're going to put that to work to find missing angle measures. All right, so let's hop into it. I don't expect this is going to be a very long video. Here's a nice design at the top of the screen. We have two intersecting lines, and you can see that on the left side we have an expression m plus 10. And then in the angle on the right-hand side, we see that it is labeled at 55 degrees. So what my task is, in this example, is to figure out the value of m. Now, the only way to do that is to understand the relationship between, let's call this angle A and angle B. So if I'm looking at angles A and B, and I think back on my terminology, my vocabulary, and my understanding of angle relationships, I realize that angle A and angle B are vertical angles. They are kind of standing back to back from each other. They're pointing in opposite directions. And I know that vertical angles are congruent to one another. So obviously angle B is 55 degrees, and that means that angle A is also 55 degrees. So this whole thing here is 55 degrees, just like angle B is. So how is that going to help me find the missing value for m? Well, that's really not too difficult. If you know that A is 55, because it's vertical to B, which is 55, you simply set up a one-step equation. Right? So m plus 10 is equal to 55 degrees. Now, to solve for m, I hope you remember what to do. You would subtract 10 from both sides, and you'd say goodbye to those 10s, and m would be equal to 45. So, the value of m in this design is 45, because 45 plus 10 equals 55, and angle A is 55 because it is vertical to B, which is 55. Right? So it's kind of like taking everything we understand and putting it all together and making our knowledge come together and work for us. Now, believe it or not, we really only have one more example here. And before I get started on this problem, I want to remind you of one thing that we may not have discussed. And what I want to remind you of is that an entire circle all the way around is 360 degrees. So if you don't remember that a circle has 360 degrees in it, that's a good thing to learn and really store in your brain and keep it in there for a long, long time, because that's gonna come back to haunt you, if you will, again and again and again as you progress through your math classes, even into the high school and into college. So if I'm looking at this design, I see here I've got angle A, which seems to be an unknown degree measurement. I have another angle here. Looks like it's 110 degrees. And then on the, what looks like the outside of these angles, or the outside of these lines, the outside of this design, I know that from here all the way to here is 220 degrees. Now, remember what I said. A complete circle is 360. Well, I know from here to here is 110, and I know that from here to here is 220. The only piece I don't know is A. So can you figure out what we would do? Yeah, you would take the 110 degree angle that you know, and you would take that really big outside angle of 220 degrees that you know, and you would add those together, and that equals 330. So you know that you have 330 degrees of the 360 degree circle. So that means you have to take your 360 degrees in the complete circle, subtract off the degrees that you have, which is 330, and that means that A, or the missing value, is 30 degrees. So this one was a little bit different. This didn't really have anything to do with vertical angles or supplementary or complementary or alternate interior or corresponding. To solve this problem, you really just had to remember that a complete circle has 360 degrees in it all the way around. This one wasn't quite so tough. So in class, we're going to continue to work on our angle relationships worksheet that you started the day before. So thanks for watching. Thanks for checking in. I hope you took down some notes, and I look forward to working with you in class.